thanks for joining me today. It's Geraldine from the Paper Puffin Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make this double easel card. You can see that when it's closed, it will fit inside of an A2 envelope. And when you open, you will see that it stands up as an easel, but then you have this additional second easel as well. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. Let's begin by reviewing all of the pieces you're going to need to build this card. You'll need 4 pieces of the base color, one measuring 4 1/4 by 11 inches, one at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, one at 4 3/4 by 2 inches, and another at 2 inches by 2 3/8. You'll need a coordinating cardstock, 2 pieces at 5 1/4 by 4 inches, one at 2 1/2 by 4 inches, and 2 at 2 3/16 by 1 3/4. You'll need 2 pieces of white cardstock. One piece will measure 4 inches by 2 1/2, and the other will measure 2 3/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. Then for the designer series paper, you'll need both pieces measuring 5 1/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch, just different patterned paper. Then you will also need 2 pieces that each measure 2 1/16 by 1 5/8. Again, in the 2 different designer series paper patterns. For the scoring, I'm taking my largest piece of my base color and I'm going to be scoring it at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. So lining up the 11-inch edge, I'm going to line it up at 5 1/2 and score, and then slide it over and score again at 2 3/4. That will give me the 2 score lines, which I will fold and burnish. I'll just show you how I will be folding those. Then I'm going to take my smaller piece of the base color, which will make the smaller easel, and I'm going to be scoring this as well. I'll line up the longest edge with the top, and I'll first score at 1 3/16, which is 1 3 of the little notches. And then I'll slide it over and score it at 2 3/8. 2 3/8. Then I'm going to be folding and burnishing along these score lines as well to make the smaller easel. Now I'll show you how I'm going to be assembling all of these pieces. I'm taking my large piece of my base color. I will glue to that the coordinating piece of cardstock and then the designer series paper that I want to be on the front of the card. I'll then repeat that with these smaller pieces. The base color, the coordinating color, and the designer series paper will all get attached, and this will form the front of the small easel. Then I have the coordinating cardstock and the other piece of designer series paper. They'll get glued together, and then I'll repeat that with these 2 pieces. I'll pick up there. Now with all of those pieces glued together, I'm going to take a look at the base of the card. Remember, we scored it here and here. So this middle panel is going to be where I'll place the larger of the white piece of cardstock. So that will get glued here, and that will be where you would write a message to the recipient. I'll go ahead and glue that on. I'll also glue on this piece to this bottom portion of the card. I'll attach those 2 pieces and we'll pick up there. Now that I have these pieces attached, I'm going to take my smaller easel and I'm going to repeat by attaching this piece on the inside here. Now I'll prepare the front images for the card. So I'm using Rustic Retreat as well as Curvy Christmas for this. I wanted this sentiment Merry Christmas. I'm using the piece of white cardstock we cut earlier as well as a piece of scrap, and I'll go ahead and stamp the images and we'll pick up there. Here's the stamped image, all colored and ready to now be attached to the mat, which will then get attached to the front panel of the card. I've also done that with the smaller image, and I used the stitched shape ovals to cut out the image, and then I used the layering ovals die to cut out the mat. I'll go ahead and glue all these pieces and then start assembling the card. Putting all the pieces together, I'm going to take this front panel. I'm going to be putting Tombow glue on this panel of the base of the card so that this attaches to the front and will be able to stand up like this. I then will do the same thing with the smaller easel. On the front of it, I'm going to put some Tombow glue here. Then I'm going to take this image and this will get attached here so that it will be able to stand up like this. I'll go ahead and do that step. Now that I have these pieces glued on, I'm going to be attaching this small easel to the inside of the card. So when I open up the card, I'm going to take this easel, I'm going to place glue on the back, it will be Tombow glue, and then I'm going to line it up in the center along the edge of the Designer Series paper. Now for the last step, I'm going to put a little bit of linen ribbon up here in a bow, and I'm going to get the sentiment ready to attach here so that it will hold this easel in place. And here's the finished card. I attached the bow and I put the sentiment from our home to yours at Christmas time here. I popped it up on dimensionals, and this sentiment came from the holiday home stamp set, and I punched it out with the classic label punch. It will then hold the smaller easel in place. When you close the card, you'll fold this easel in and it will close like this so that it fits into an A2 envelope. Here's another couple that I've made. This one's very similar, just different colors and a different image for this piece here. And then I also made this set, and this one opens like so and stands like this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.